Hello? Oh, thank goodness you picked up. Look, I really need your help. I think I'm stuck.
I'm on my way.
Alright, but don't take too long. This video, we look at how to actually set up and choose the right games for your board game night, especially if it's your first one. Now, board game nights are really good because they're a great way to socialize with your friends, family, and colleagues, and it's an incredibly fun way to just relax. Now, this video will look at the things that you need to think about when selecting the right game for the particular group that you're setting this game night for. Narrowing down a selection of games to engage your group is an incredibly daunting task, especially when you've probably got all these different games that you really want to bring, but you don't really know which one might be the best fit. And, you know, if you want to bring all the games like the ones I've got behind me, you probably need a semi-trailer to do so. And you don't want to bring a game that isn't going to be worth your time or effort. My first point that you should think about when setting up a game night is how you're actually going to structure your game night. When are you going to suggest certain types of games to the group, and how you're going to order the games and pick the right games so that it's really going to be successful. Now, more often than not, players who arrive at a game night are more than happy to play anything that you suggest. In fact, they will trust what you say because you are the one that has brought the game and the experience, and you wouldn't have brought the game if you didn't think it was going to be fun. Now, I like to structure my game nights like a 3-course meal. I usually have my entree games, my main games, and my dessert games. Now, my entree games are typically games that take 1 to 2 minutes to explain. They're party-themed games that can really reach out from 8 to 10 players and really allows players to just quickly play a game in 5 to 10 minutes and really sets the mood for the night. And it's usually a game that's really enjoyable, one that'll make people laugh, one that really gets people relaxed. Now, my mains sort of board games is basically games that really take about 5 to 10 minutes to explain. They can sometimes be newer games, but they're games that do require a little bit of strategic thinking, and games that really engage the group for about an hour. And you don't really want to go over an hour because sometimes people lose interest, people get distracted, people have other commitments that they need. So fitting into that 1 hour time slot is really crucial and really important. Now, if you have more players in your group than what the board game actually caters for, one of the suggestions I often have or use is I actually pair everybody up so that 2 players play as 1 player in the actual game, and that way newer players don't feel like they're left out of the lurch or have to ask about lots of rules after you've explained them 5 times. You know, playing in pairs as single players in a game means that there's opportunity for shared decision making, more socializing, and it's okay if someone has to go and answer a phone call because the other player can keep playing their turn for them. So pairing everybody up really means a 5-player game can really cater for 10 people. Now, my dessert games are games that require very little setup. They're games that players have played before. They're easy to get out. They're easy to, engage everybody. It's familiar games that are really gonna end the night off really well. And people at this point of the night are gonna be really tired. So it's really important to choose dessert games that are very quick to teach, easy to get into, and usually I like to pick familiar games that everybody knows. In the second half of this vlog, I really want to talk about what are sort of the different factors that you need to consider when selecting games for each of those 3 categories I just talked about. Well, first of all, it's really important to know the approximate number of people that are going to be at the game night. And if you have an estimated idea of how many are going to be there at the beginning and possibly how many at the end, then that will kind of narrow down the choices that you're probably going to make. I mean, you're going to probably pick a high player count game for the beginning of your night, and a lower player count game towards the end of the night as people kind of leave and go home. Now, it's also really important to know the experience levels of your players. Now, if you're, introducing a really heavy game to people who haven't played board games before, that's going to be really overwhelming for them. So it's really important to know how much people have played, or to ask people, how many board games have you played before? What are sort of the games that you really like? And that can be kind of part of the icebreaker conversations that you have at the beginning of your evening. It is also really crucial to know the environment that you're going to be playing your games in. If you're going to be playing at a pub where there's loud background band music or rock music or disco music, then you're not going to really bring a game that's going to have lots of pieces that can roll around everywhere. You're going to bring something a little bit lighter, a little bit like Skulls, which is a really great game for playing at a pub. I mean, if you're at a family friend's house or if you are at a holiday house, then you're probably more likely going to be able to bring a bigger game that has a little bit more table space. Which brings me to the point of table space. It's really important to gauge how much room you actually have. And some restaurants or cafes have these round tables, which are excellent because I realized that round tables allow you to see everybody sitting there. I did not know how amazing it was to play a board game at a round table until I actually did it. So the shape of the table is going to be really important because it means how well are people going to be able to see each other. Knowing how much space you've got or clearing the space is going to be really important. Now, if you're going to a bar or a restaurant or a cafe, one thing, and this is from experience that you should really think about, is where everyone places their drinks. And I can tell you how many times a drink has spilled over some cards, or when you've moved the drink off the coaster, it's left this little ring of water, and then people place cards because it's too dark to see on it, and then everything kind of gets wet and damaged. It's really important to know the environment you're going into. The last thing that I'd like to talk about is the rules. It's so important that if you're going to suggest a game at a games night, that you really familiarize yourself with the rules before you bring the game. Knowing the rules is really going to alleviate a lot of the frustration when it comes to teaching the game. And people often get frustrated as soon as there's a rule in question and people need clarification about a rule. And if you don't really have those answers ready, then that can often really put a downer on a gaming experience, and you don't really want to turn a relaxed situation into one about searching things up online or ones that interrupt the flow. So it's really important to familiarize yourself with the game as much as possible before you actually suggest it and teach it. And it's really also crucial that, when you explain a game, try and highlight what is fun about the game. What will people enjoy? What's the cool little mechanic that will really get everyone interested, and introduce some of more the specific rules as the game goes on or as they arise. It's always good to just get people playing because people often want to be doing something, and once people start playing and you introduce some of the rules, then that just feels like it's a little bit more organic and a little bit more natural. And people are very, very open to playing like a test round first before they actually have a proper go at the game. So I thought I'd share some of my favorite board game menus and favorite board game combinations that I like to take to a board game night that I really have found quite successful. And this does vary based on player count and where you're actually going to be having your board game night, but these are ones that I've found to work really well. So the first one, and by all means, feel free to mix and match any of these to kind of suit your group. First combination that I want to share with you is one for a beginner group. And the first game that I really like, and this is a relatively new one that I've used recently, and it has been a hit every single time, and that is Just One. And in Just One, the idea of the game is that it's kind of like Celebrity Heads, where someone has a word that they don't know about, and the other players have to give one-word clues that try and help that guesser to be able to guess the word that's in front of them. Except there's a little bit of a twist. Any words that are, or any clues that are the same, get turned face down. And that can often be quite an interesting experience because players have to think differently enough to ensure that their clue doesn't get cancelled out if another player chooses the same clue, but they also have to be relatively general enough so that the person who's guessing it is going to guess it correctly. This has been an absolute hit with non-gamers, gamers, every sort of person alike. This game, I can't say how valuable this game has been to my collection. Now, my mains game that I use at a beginner game night is Ticket to Ride, and I kind of opt for Ticket to Ride Europe just because it's got a little bit more strategy to it. Ticket to Ride is a relatively easy game to get into, and completing routes, gathering the right combination of colored train cards to fulfill or connect certain cities. Ticket to Ride Europe is such a fantastic and easily paced game that, when I played it with a group of 10, everyone paired up, people could talk about which routes and how to get around to connecting particular cities, this was a very big hit. To finish that particular game night, we played the game Sushi Go. Very small area table space. It's just a deck of cards, and it's basically pick a card, pass the rest along, and you want to try and make sushi combos. It's a set collecting game, and it's just one that has a theme that everybody loves. And thank you once again for joining me for my first Board Game Sanctuary vlog video. I hope to bring you another vlog very soon. If you really like this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, I release one official video each month in addition to these vlog videos, so please remember to check those out. Thank you once again for joining me. This is Danny signing out. I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.